9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take.
Point here also you have a source where the water comes from, because you don't have water in all this area. So they have the advantage of having water. The source is still there. And these are stones which we are building the fort. Now, since the fort went down, or sort of collapsed, they have a market day on Thursdays where they bring things and sell. So that we use most of these stones are used by the people to sit down and sell their things. Down there, you see here, there, right down there, you can see from under the rocks a sort of wetness. This was a spring, a source where water comes from. This time when there were religious wars between the tribe of Bassaris and the Fullers were occupying this area because this was on the mountains here, this was the only area where you get water. And they built some kind of a fort that they are the only ones who are occupying that area, because then they know that the Bassari won't come to get the water here. And they go out and hunt for this Bassari to bring them into this religion, which these people already rejected because they are enemies. So this was the war between the Bassari and the Fullers. During those days, this was a long time ago. There was a great Marabu who was the Tempelo right? Who was the Marabus of the Fullers. Are you listening?
Yes.
He was living there. There is also a sort of a small fort where he lives, and he was some kind of a fortune teller, and he tells them where and when to go and hunt for these Bassari people, where to find them and when to go out. And he tells them also when not to go, because also the Bassari were also a very strong tribe, and then they have their own type of preparations, which if the Fullers doesn't know it, then they will get killed, a lot of them. So this was the Marabu who was weak enough to know how and when to hunt and look out for these Bassari people. He was living, this was in the 18th centuries.
Ici, les guerriers qui habitaient ici.
This was the entrance, this here.
C'est la porte.
Here is the entrance of the fort in those days. Very small. And this is where you have all the sort of soldiers and disciples. Well, you don't call them soldiers these days, you call them disciples. They are religious warriors. And this is where they live. You can see the walls built by them all around. And this, behind the walls, this is where. But then all of these trees were not there by then. It was a clear area, but now since it was neglected, there are so many trees and nobody burns them down and nobody cuts down nothing.
Mais il va pas mourir de soif.
It's just explaining that you can see from the tree here. This is a sort of a tree which it keeps a lot of water. The bigger ones, they keep a lot of water. So when the hunters are thirsty in the bush and there is no water, they just cut it. They cut it in two pieces, and you can see a lot of water coming. It just drips like a pump, and from this they drink, so they cannot die of thirst. But there are bigger ones which are bigger than this, and those ones keep a lot of water, which the hunters knew about and they use it.
Parce que si c'est un gros comme ça,
ouais, ça beaucoup de l'eau.
Ouais.